Hey, Phaser, welcome. I know, I saw your comments in the Discord. I was actually going to be commenting on it here during the admin notes of the stream. But yeah, I noticed you were there. M was there as well. He joined in open for a bit while we were making a few jumps back and all that sort of stuff. It's a good time. I was on for maybe 3 hours or so in open, something like that, hanging out with the various commanders that were there. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 11 of our Elite Dangerous New Adventure playthrough series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, admin notes. The Thursday server reset came with something that was somewhat expected, but also a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to change over to my other monitor here. So we got the teaser last week with a photo that I talked about in the admin notes about a new vehicle that was going to be released here during the summer. We had brought up the roadmap and looked at it and knew that we were missing a vehicle out of the two that were to be released here during the summer. Well, we now got our first look at that through a news post that was put up on Thursday of this week by the dev team. And that new vehicle is a new SRV, and it is named the Rhino. Now, as we expected from the photos, the Rhino is meant to do something that is, according to FDev, not in the game right now. And this may go along with that feature refresh that they're talking about happening later on in the fall. So they talk about it here. The Rhino will be arriving at shipyards later this month, bringing with it a brand new way to extract riches. And they talk about that here. The main function of the Rhino is surface mining. Now, we're not entirely sure exactly what that's going to entail. When we were gathering raw materials a few episodes ago, the way to currently gather raw engineering materials, and I need to make that clear, raw engineering materials is to go out to these various locations where there are geological or biological formations, shoot various different interactable objects off of either the ground or off of another object, and then go pick it up with your SRV. Now, it's important to realize that those are not minerals and metals like you mine from your ship using laser mining or core mining. Okay? You're not down on the surface mining platinum or molybdenum or something like that. That's not what you're doing. You're on the surface collecting raw materials of the various types. Now, the Rhino, we think, is going to be a way through a new mechanic that they're probably going to again be bringing forth during the feature refresh, where you are now able to possibly mine those commodities that you can sell in the commodities markets on the surface of a planet, which right now you're not able to do in any appreciable way. So this might be a big change in how these commodities are collected. And we're going to kind of wait and see because there's a bunch of speculation on the forums right now. Elite went through this a few years ago where they changed how engineering materials were gathered, and when they did that, they reset every raw material location in the entire galaxy. So all of the guides instantly became wrong overnight. All the locations you had bookmarked instantly became wrong overnight. And it led to a lot of heartburn by the community, but we knew why they were doing it. It was so they could add in some new things that we needed to have happen with the planetary surface regeneration. This, like I say, there's a bunch of speculation right now, so I'm not going to go too far down a rabbit hole, but we don't know if that same type of thing is going to happen here. If they have to change how we are able to interact with the planet by either adding new locations on a planet's surface where you're able to drop the rhino and mine certain things, or change how existing one works, like the lava vents and the fumaroles and that sort of stuff that give you raw engineering materials right now. Maybe those won't give raw engineering materials. Maybe those will now give commodity materials instead. And because no one uses those things to farm engineering materials. The brain trees and crystal shards and that sort of stuff are way more efficient. So maybe it would repurpose some of those things to bring life back into them. But we don't really know. There's a whole bunch of speculation, so we're all kind of waiting to see how this gameplay loop is going to be implemented and what it's going to do. But the rhino, here you can see a picture of it being dropped from a Type 11. Now, they mentioned something here that this is a large SRV. It looks it. There's a picture of a commander standing next to it. The Scarab and the Scorpion are much smaller than this. And they mention that in here, that the size of this means that you cannot deploy through a regular cargo hatch like the other SRVs. This is dropped from a new vehicle bay, so you can see there's the cargo hatch on the Type 11, and this is where the vehicle bay is. Now, I don't think because of the size, there's no way that you could drive this thing underneath the Type 11. It's just not that high off the ground, and I don't expect that any ship is going to be high enough off the ground for the Rhino to fit under it. So there's some speculation that maybe there's some sort of tractor beam under this type of animation, because the ship is on autopilot following you around, kind of like the Nomad when you drop it out of a ship. So we expect that there's going to be some way where this thing hovers, or maybe you get on a location where the ship can reach you and the ship will fly over the top of you and, drop some sort of fastener down or something that grabs you and pulls you up. We're not entirely sure how the docking and undocking animations are going to work. But one thing we do know about this SRV is that it operates very similar to the Scorpion and the Scarab in that you can't walk into it. There is no interior like there is on the Nomad. And they talk about there is no accessible interior space. But and that's because they need to make room for all the equipment that goes along with this. So we're interested to see if this is going to be but it says as for what that equipment might be, you have to discover for yourselves. So maybe this is introducing a new gameplay loop for the commodity minerals farming, as well as possibly raw engineering farming. Maybe there's a new way for us to farm those materials off of like the brain trees and the crystal shards by maybe it expels out a bomb or something that explodes multiple ones of them at once, and then there's some sort of vacuuming system or something like that. Like I say, there's 1,000 speculations going on. But we don't really know what all this is going to be. But we do know it has been announced, and just like everything, they're going to release it behind ARCs later on this month. I don't buy ships off of ARCs. I normally wait the 2 to 3 months or something like that before they release it fully. So you won't be seeing me test drive this thing around, just like the Nomad. Go look at, I mean, there's a lot of great content creators out there that will showcase some of this sort of stuff for you. It's just not something that I'm going to do. So also on admin notes, we skipped Thursday's live stream because I was making my way back from the bubble. But this coming Thursday, or next week's Thursday, live stream should be back to normal at that same time. So please join us for a regular live stream coming back on Thursday. So I think that's it on admin notes. So on our recap, last week we were in Colonia, and we were there for 2 reasons. One, for the community goal, which was a set of 4 hauling community goals. Happy to say that we completed tier 1 in all 4 of those community goals. So that means all of the rewards were unlocked for all of them. And we gained credits plus the class 5 expanded cargo racks for each one of those. And then Thursday, I hopped a ship back. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to what's happening or going to be happening in Colonia, but I did hop a fleet carrier back on Thursday. For those of you who saw the post that I put up on the channel, I was live in open on the carrier, and we had a few commanders join into open as well. Got to hang out and chat for a few hours during that trip. Phaser, as I mentioned during the chatting, Phaser was on the same carrier on the way back. Noticed some of those comments, his comments in the Discord. M was also, he joined into live, or into open, and got to interact with us there on the bridge. And I did take some, just a couple of quick screenshots of that trip back. So here I am with a couple of other commanders on the bridge of the carrier. Here's a shot that I took while I was in my ship on the flying outside, looking back into the observation deck at the commanders who were also in live, and M is right here. So yeah, it's the instancing inside of Elite Dangerous is buggy. Everyone knows that. Ever since Wings and multiplayer were brought into the game, it's been buggy. But for the most part, it works. And when it does work, you get really cool interactions like this, where you're standing inside the carrier looking out, and you can see actual pilots flying their ships around and doing that sort of stuff. So it's a great set of instancing and how things are kind of set up in the game like that. But we did hop the carrier back, and we are now in the bubble, and we're going to continue what we were originally, the course that we were originally on, and that's engineers. So let's go ahead and jump back in here. And I'm going to be, well, I don't think it matters today, I'm thinking. I don't think it matters today, so I'm going to be an open today. Okay, so here we are. So first, let's look at our transactions. So on my main character, I completed all the community goals. I flew to all 4 stations, clicked complete, and transferred the 4 cargo racks back to the fleet carrier, and then they traveled back to the bubble with me. And then when I got here, I transferred them from the fleet carrier to my my personal fleet carrier. I want to illustrate something a little different here this time, because I mentioned this in the Discord a few times and on a couple of comments to videos, but I did not complete these 4 community goals. You can see that they all have the blue check mark. They all have been completed and they are ready for me to complete them, but I didn't do it. And what that means is that the credits that are available for my tier that I achieved in each one, I have not collected those credits yet. Also, the cargo racks, I have not collected those yet. But there's another way to complete community goals. And I really like this aspect of community goals, in that if you don't complete a community goal, it will auto-complete in 2 weeks. So all of the credits from all 4 of these will automatically deposited into my account no matter where I am in the galaxy after 2 weeks. What will also happen is those 4 cargo racks will become available as stored modules. So if you go into outfitting and you go down here to stored modules, I have, oh, they're actually there, even though I didn't complete them. Oh, nice. Okay, well, I can illustrate this here. I didn't think I would have access to these without completing them, but I do. So, interesting. So here are the 4 pre-engineered cargo racks. All right, these are 5E, so they normally have a 32 cargo capacity, but they're pre-engineered here with the expanded cargo rack grade 5, which takes it up 34.4% to a 43 cargo. Now, these are all out in Colonia. You can see the locations: Carcosa, Einherjar, Asura, and Ranganid. So I'm transferring these back from Colonia. Now, normally, that would be a big transfer fee because it's 22,000 light years. Community goal awarded ships and modules have a set fixed transfer fee of 100 credits. They've realized that you might not want to be able to, or it might be hard to travel all over the bubble or the galaxy collecting some of these. So they made it easy to transfer them. So wherever I transfer these to, no matter how far away, it's only going to cost me 100 credits. So if I click on this and I transfer from storage, you can see that the transfer fee is here. There's no distance levy. This module also has 0 value. And that's important because the cost of your rebuy on your ship is based upon the cost of the ship and the modules that you have installed in it. Since this module value is 0, it means that if I equip it on a ship in place of a regular 5e cargo rack, my rebuy if I die is going to be lower, right? And that's the case for all of these awarded, community goal awarded modules. Now, the one downside is that you still have to wait for the transfer time. So it's going to take 61 hours to transfer them back from the bubble, but I'm not going to have to pay the transfer fees. Okay? So I'm just going to click transfer from storage on all of these. It's going to give me 61 hours. And you see they're all various times based upon the slight distance and in distance from where I'm at to those systems. But now they're all en route, and soon enough they will be available for me to equip. Okay, but in 2 weeks, all the credits from those things will be hitting my bank account as well. So, engineers. Let's bring up my other screen here, and we will take a look quickly at our engineers. Now, we had unlocked a few engineers by default. When you start playing the game and doing certain things, you're going to get access to certain engineers. And what we had done was we went in and we upgraded some of those engineers that we had early access to so that we get access to the Colonia, some of the Colonia engineers before we flew out there. So that's why Elvira is up to grade 5. You didn't see me upgrade her to grade 5, but I needed her to be grade 3 before I could access Mel Brandon. The same thing for the Dweller to access Marcia Hicks, and Todd the Blaster McQuinn to access Petra. Now I didn't unlock Petra because, as we talked about, you need to be combat rank expert to get it. And then Liz Ryder to access Etienne Dorn. And all those are, you can see the symbol, those are all the Colonia engineers. We unlocked and fully upgraded 3 out of the 4 of them while we were out there. And now we're going to be continuing with unlocking the engineers here in the bubble. And Eddy Material Helper has a convenient tab up here for engineer unlocks. And on this, if you pull this down, you can see how the unlocks are kind of tiered with each other. Elvira, to unlock Mel Brandon, you have to unlock Elvira. And that's the same thing for Zacariah Nemo and Marco Qwent. To access Professor Palin, Laurie Jameson, and Chloe Sadesi, you have to unlock Marco Qwent. And it does this tiered setup for all of the various different engineers in the game. So what I'm going to do is just start working my way down this list. This is not the most efficient way to do this. I'll tell you that right now. There are some guides out there that will walk you through how to minimize how many jumps you have to make and how much, where you can get materials and that sort of stuff. I'm not doing that. We're just going to go down this list and unlock them. So you can see the next one on my list is Zacariah Nemo. Okay. So we learned about him because Elvira, we got to level 3. She's now at level 5. To gain access, this is by invitation from the party of Yoru. It's obtained by taking missions from the party of Yoru until you reach friendly status. A special invitation mission will then be available. Okay, so let's go to our map and we'll look at Yoru. Okay, and this is by invitation from the party of Yoru. Right, so there's only 2 space installations here in the system. But here you can see Party of Yoru is in control of this one and this one. So we can go to either one of them. So let's just set for Caden Reach. That's 3 jumps away, and let's go head out. And I did some of this offline last night after I got back from Colonia. I didn't want to spend an hour and a half running missions to up my reputation.
Ship is disengaged from landing pad. Take care when leaving the station.
but we will run. I'm not entirely sure if we have to run one or not, but we'll see when we get there. It does feel weird to be back in the bubble, I will say that. Colonia is such a unique place. It really is. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on stream exploring Colonia, or the Colonia region. But there are so many unique astronomical phenomena and stuff like that out there, that it's really an intriguing place. So being back here and seeing these system names that I'm used to seeing, yeah, it's a little strange. But I am glad to be back for however long I might be back. I say that because the Galnet article about the celebrations on Thursday after the server reset and the CGs ended was a bit cryptic as to whether or not you should stay in Colonia or not. To be honest, I'm expecting that maybe Tuesday or something like that, maybe Monday, there's going to be a Galnet article that's going to request pilots come back to Colonia. I'm purely guessing, so don't make a trip out there and then trip back out there and then blame me for making you go out there. But the Galnet article said that they're going to keep reporting on the celebrations as more news becomes available. And we still haven't heard anything about the mega market yet. They didn't mention it in the Galnet article. So I'm thinking that there's going to be another community goal or maybe two out there. And we're going to have to make our way back. I'm probably going to head out there a different way. This time, I'll probably take one of my commanders on a fleet carrier, like I did this last time, but I might outfit a Caspian Explorer on this commander here. It's going to be expensive. It's an expensive ship, but I may outfit it, buy it and outfit it, and actually jump the neutron superhighway out there. Now, that's something like 55 jumps or something like that, 60 jumps at the max range of the Caspian that I have built, which neutron jumping with my Caspian would be something like 460 light years per jump. So and that's a little bit shorter than the max 500 that a carrier can jump. So it may be somewhere around 55 to 60 jumps or something like that, but that's still a long time. And I don't probably want to spend an entire stream doing that. So I'd probably make my way out there and stop 3 or 4 jumps before I got to Colonia, and then we'd start the live stream and kind of jump the rest of the way in. It's always a hazardous approach. Yep. Thought I was going to clip it. Okay, so let's look in here and see what our reputation is. So the party of Yoru is here, and you can see that we're still at cordial. Okay, we are not at friendly status yet. So let's look here, and you can see the engineer invitation contract is locked due to reputation requirements. So we need to do probably one more mission here. So let's look at some of these data collection ones here that have reputation. So let's just take this one. Okay. And let's fly out here. I can buy the data for this. So I can plot a route right to it. And you saw that I selected the party of Yoru specifically in the mission tab, so it only showed me missions that were going to be getting reputation with them. That was one of the mistakes I made when I was running reputation last time, and such an epic fail. Well, let's go over and run this one mission here and see if that gets us up there, or if we're going to have to run another one. Either way, these are quick, just drop into the station, and when you do, the mission's going to auto-complete because it's just data that we're couriering over. And let's see what that is. Okay, so I'm going to get a delivery bonus. And again, Super Cruise Overcharge just makes these long distances out here really easy. And let's make our approach and see where this station's orbiting. Looks like it's on the lower left here, or on the left. Okay, so we should be good, just straight approaching from here. Might get a little slowdown. Alright. So we'll complete this mission.
You are on deck. Disembark when ready.
We'll take the reputation bonus.
Incoming message.
Okay, and now we're going to stop here. And now you can see that that one courier mission on the left got us into friendly status with the party of Yoru. Now, like I say, I've run a few missions here to get me from neutral into cordial and through cordial to where we were. These are really easy missions here. So just courier some stuff around in your ship for 30 minutes or so, and you'll have the relations that you need. So let's go back to Yoru. Oh, type 11. Oh, and in case you haven't noticed, somebody asked this, and I haven't talked about it. If you look at the mail slot, on the left, right there,
Morning, Commander. Please fly more carefully.
flashing red light, and a flashing green light on this side. For small ships, the green light and red light tell you which side to enter and exit on. So if you are doing what I do a lot of times and you're boosting out of the mail slot, you might not be able to see dark colored ships outside, and you may be boosting right into them like I did once.
Now exceeded. We hope you have
If it's a large ship, they're going to take up the whole mail slot, and they're going to be right in the middle. But if it's a smaller ship, they're going to be offset to one side or the other, and they're going to be coming in using those entrance and exit lanes. So if you want, you can aim for the green arrow or the green light side, and that will indicate a free passage, because there won't be anybody coming in from the outside at that same spot. Just another little housekeeping thing, that tip and trick that's in the game that I wanted to let everybody know about. There's a bunch of those little things that I tend to gloss over because I've been playing this game for a decade now. But when I see them, I try and stop and point them out for the new pilots. So there's our reputation change. Okay, we're directly at the bottom here, so we're already on the tangent. So we'll just make our approach. And again, go full throttle once we get a blue speed. And it just shaves about 10 seconds off your approach time. Okay, so let's see what this mission is. We should see now that the engineer unlock or invitation contract is now unlocked. And you can see from the icon on the left, right here, that this is a data courier mission. I think I briefly mentioned this a couple of streams ago, but you can actually reset this mission. So if you get something that's like you need to deliver some cargo or something, or you need to kill a bunch of people, you can reset this one by logging out to the main menu and coming back in, and it will change the mission to a different mission. And you can just keep resetting it until you get a data delivery mission, which are by far the easiest ones to do. Okay, so we're going to Fresh Jorts. Haven't been here yet. So let's launch and we will go deliver this mission, and this is going to unlock access to Zacariah and Nemo. it said this thing was only like 3 light seconds out. Yep, it is. So there it is right there. I wanted to be quick on the... Okay, so it must be on the back side of this. Yeah, it's on the back side. I prefer not to have to orbit. Let's see if we can turn this thing. There it is. And we'll complete this one, and we should get a message.
Docking procedure complete. Initiating ship lockdown. Our facilities are at your disposal, Commander.
Incoming message.
Okay. So now we have completed the invitation contract. So if we go to our mail, there's the invitation from Zacariah Nemo. Okay. So he's now going to add his location to our map. Okay, and here it is. Okay. And Nemo Cyber Party Base is our new one. Now, it put a bookmark in there, and I want to see where it put it. Yeah, okay, it put it here. Yeah, I don't like how it does that bookmark, so I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to put a new one back. And, whoops. That's not how you spell his name. That's it. Nope. I should have learned. It's right there. Zacariah Nemo, and I'll save that. Okay. So now, what you would normally do is you would travel to that location. You would talk to him, and he would tell you what you need to do for your initial contract. We already know that. And that's here. He needs a donation of 25 tons of Zyhi biomorphic companions, and we obtain these at xenesthisimmanis in the Zyhi system. So we're going to go back in here and look for Zyhi. And we're going to take a couple of jumps, get over there, and go to xenesthisimmanis and pick these up. That way we'll have the materials that we need already on board, so when we go see them, we don't have to go talk to him to find out what it is and then come back later. Okay, so one more jump here.
Frameshift drive charging.
And we're looking for Zendoc.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scope disengaged.
And this is, again, why I chose to, and I think I mentioned this earlier, I chose to buy the Mandalay, outfit the Mandalay, and engineer it as much as I could. It makes all this flying around and all that sort of stuff that you have to do just so much faster, and that just makes it that much easier to do all of these unlocks and picking up stuff. I got 80 cargo space on my Mandalay for a reason, and we've talked about that before, so all of these just come with the experience of having done these a few times. Kind of know what's going to help you guys progress a little easier and avoid some of the frustrations that I had to go through the past decade. But again, it's not 100% perfect. You could optimize a bunch of this stuff. I'm just not interested in it. There's 30, there it is. Blends in with all the red lights.
Landing gear deployed.
Touchdown confirmed. Dispatching ground crew.
Okay, so the Zaihi biomorphic companions are a rare commodity. So some of these engineers, to unlock them, you might have to make multiple trips because there isn't enough of the commodity there, depending upon the economic state of the system. You may have to make multiple trips. In this case, there are 40 of these, and we need 25. I could buy the rest. I could buy up to 40 of these things and sell the rest of them, but it's just not something I'm really interested in doing. I've got something like 855 million credits, so don't really care about an extra couple of 100,000. Oh, I bookmarked it. Duh. And we'll be able to see, this is an ASP Explorer. You can see how it's a smaller ship and it's offsetting to the left. So it's using the lanes.
Landing gear retracted.
And don't do what I just did. Don't ever go through the mail slot with your landing gear retracted. They love to get caught on those little bars, that cage on the outside. They love to get caught up in there and when that happens, bad things can happen.
You are clear of the station. Flight control signing off.
Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention. While you're on a fleet carrier, I think I've mentioned some of this in comments on the videos. If you're catching a ride on a fleet carrier, again, you don't have to stay logged in. You can go dock at the fleet carrier, you can log out. Wherever it jumps while you're logged out, it will carry you with it. However, if you do stay logged in while you're on the carrier and it's jumping out there, if you go to the observation deck and kind of watch what the jumping looks like while you're inside the carrier, it's pretty cool the first few times you see it. But you always want to at least go back to the landing bay and hop in your ship in every new system that you get to. And that's because when the carrier jumps in, it jumps in right next to the main star in the system. And if you're in your ship at some point while the carrier's in that system, you will discover those stars, and you'll discover some of the stuff in the system depending upon how close you are to it, just by being in the cockpit of your ship. That discovery data is normally fairly rare depending upon the route that gets plotted, and you can come back and sell that discovery data to Universal Cartographics, and I think I got something like 6 million credits worth of discovery data just for sitting online in a fleet carrier while it flew around to all these uncharted systems. You can also get out of your you can fly off the carrier. There's a 20-minute timer in between jumps, so you can actually take off from the carrier. You can go fly around the system and you can discover planets that no one has discovered before and map them and get your name in the game as first discovery and or first mapping. So it gives you an opportunity for flying out to Colonia. Check your map, see if it's just the stars. If it's just the stars, hop in your ship, launch out, honk the system, see if it has any planets, and if it does, then they're more than likely going to be first discoveries for you when you hop out there. So kind of a cool way to get some notoriety in the game, as well as some extra credits while you're on those trips to and from Colonia. Oh, hey Mike, thanks. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Welcome to the channel. Glad you're here. Yeah, I'm it's kind of interesting for me. Again, been playing this thing for the same as you. And yeah, it's interesting to go through these gameplay loops again that I haven't done in 7-8 years. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, kind of catering this to the new pilot crowd and that sort of stuff, the resurgence that it's gotten because of all the new ship releases and that sort of stuff. Thought it was a good time to showcase this on the channel. So glad you enjoy it. And like I say, if you have any comments or questions or anything, let me know and I'll be happy to answer.
Clearance.
Clearance granted. Proceed to
Okay,
landing
so now this is a
pad
0.67G world. So when you're making your approach here, do it slowly. You will have a tendency here to slam your ship into the ground because the thrusters just don't react as well under high gravity loads. So just make your approach a little bit slower than normal. And let's go in and talk to Zacariah.
Landing operation complete. Commence.
So
system
here we have to
shutdown.
donate those 25
Welcome,
tons.
Commander.
And now he's unlocked. Okay. Now under specializations, under modify your module, we don't have any modules that he can work with. Okay. If we go to browse all, though, you can see that he does multi-cannons, fragment cannons, and plasma accelerators. Now, I use multi-cannons probably the most out of this. I don't use plasma accelerators hardly at all. They're to sum up what they are, they're kind of like the plasma gun in Doom, where it shoots out a rapid fire, fully automatic group of plasma balls toward a target. It's just pretty hard to hit with them because they have a slower travel speed. Fragment cannons can be good for a few things, but they're not one of the main weapons in the game, and they're very situational. Multi-cannons are great against armor, so this tends to be the thing that people do is they put in a combination of lasers to take down shields, and then swap to multi-cannons to help take down armor. So Zacariah is not a great engineer overall in the game, but I do want to unlock him to level 5. Now, I don't have any fragment cannons, but okay, if we go in here, we can unlock, or we can purchase a fragment cannon, and then we can engineer it. Okay. Now, frag cannons are the kind of quintessential PvP weapon. They're shotguns, is what they are. Now, most people in real PvP are not using frag cannons, they're using pack frags. Or the pacifier fragment cannons, or maybe a mix between the two, depending upon power loadouts and that sort of stuff. But pack frags are the meta PvE type of weapon, and you do basically a joust. That's what PvE in this game turns into, is a joust, where you fly at each other, you do a high-speed pass, and you shoot these shotgun blasts out in front of it, hoping that you're going to hit your target as it passes you by at high speed. Now, I'm not going to be focusing on fragment cannons here, but what I am going to do is I'm going to pick up, and they have gimbaled versions of them that are available for MechCoin. Fragment cannons have always been fixed. So I'm going to just pick up the 2A here, and I'm going to equip it. Okay, and now I don't care about the reminder. I'm going to go to the engineer's workshop, and I can select that fragment cannon. Now, what do you do with this? So a lot of PvP will have a mix between overcharged and rapid fire. Rapid fire will allow you to get off 3 shots in a closing engagement. You can see what the burst size is doing here. So it's going to allow you to get off, or actually that was the screaming, I think. Yeah, that's the screaming. But the rate of fire is going to allow you to get off more bursts in that short amount of time when somebody's, you know, head nose to nose passing you, type of thing. Like I say, since I'm not really going for any of these in any particular way, I'm just going to do overcharged here. That just basically is a straight DPS boost. So let's go ahead and we'll look through the material list and see if I have enough to grade 5 this. I do not, because of conductive polymers. I'm short. Okay, so I can do a full grade 5 rapid fire. So let's go ahead and do that instead. Okay, and you see in the upper right-hand corner, or upper left-hand corner, halfway through grade 3 to grade 4 now. Okay, and now I've maxed him out. And now that he's max grade 5, it should take exactly 5 to fully engineer this one here. Okay. So I can pin any blueprint that I want here. I don't have to have engineered anything to pin it. So I'm still going to pin overcharged. So when I remote, if I do remote engineer any frag cannons, I can do overcharged, and I can do that up to grade 5 now. So we are set. And I believe my power's still okay. Yeah, my power's still okay. I'm going to take that back and drop it off at Hagner City. So now let's take a look at our next engineer, because Zacariah and Nemo has now been completely unlocked. You see the check mark. So now we're looking at Marco Qwent. Now, Marco is a bit of a pain, but we have made this quite a bit easier. When we came back from the Road to Riches, I told you to go sell your exploration data in a very specific place. Okay? And we're going to go look at that place, because to gain access, I need to get an invitation from the Sirius Corporation. This is obtained by taking missions for the Sirius Corporation until you reach friendly status. A special invitation mission will then be available. The system where the engineer resides requires a permit to visit. So not only do you have to get the invitation for the engineer, you have to get an invitation for the system permit where that engineer resides. And again, to do that, you have to be an ally of the owner of the Sirius system, which is the Sirius Corporation. So when we came back from the Road to Riches, we went and turned our data in a system at a station that was controlled by the Sirius Corporation. You can see here a permit is required for this location. We don't have it yet. And I can't remember if we went to Leutenstar. Looks like we have been there. but let's look. So this is controlled by the Earth Defense Fleet. Earth Defense Fleet, so it wasn't this one. And let's look at Procyon. Have we been there? We haven't. Might have been here. So Hutton Orbital Truckers, it wasn't there. Let's, instead of looking here, let's do it a different way. Okay, so we're going to go to Inara. We're going to search nearest. We're going to go to star systems, and we're going to search around Sirius, where the minor fraction is the Sirius Corporation. Okay, so Procyon, it says there is something there. So stations. Oh, it's probably a ground station. Nope. Cormac Hub. Did I just miss this? When I was looking. Hold on. Oh, I haven't been to Procyon yet. That's why. Okay. So the Sirius Corporation is in Cormac Hub. So they're in control of it. So let's go up to Cormac Hub and take a look at our reputation with the Sirius Corporation. So here's Procyon. We haven't been there yet. This wasn't where we sold our information, but it won't matter. We sold it to a Sirius Corporation location. And it might have been any of these. So I can't remember exactly which one we sold it to. But we sold it to somewhere near Sirius. So let's launch up there. And we'll go to Cormac Hub. Yeah, Mike, without a doubt. Engineering is something that I've recommended to my viewers here to do sooner than later. The one caveat to that is that, again, having a ship where it's easy to travel around makes unlocking these engineers so much easier. So that's why I saved up money for the Mandalay and did as much improvement of the modules on the Mandalay as I could to make this grind a little bit easier. Now, there was a question that M posed in the comments under one of my videos about what I'm about to do now. You can see that the system where I'm going in hyperspace is behind the planet right now. So even if I'm not mass locked right now, so if I try to engage my hyperdrive or my frameshift drive, I can't. The destination is obscured. Okay, so what you need to do is head away from the planet, and in your options under controls or ship controls, or here, you have one for hyperspace jump and you have one for super cruise. Okay, the hyperspace jump will try and send you into hyperspace while you're traveling between systems. Super cruise will, if you don't have any system outside, another system outside of where you're located, targeted, that same hyperspace jump button will put you into Super Cruise. However, in this case, that button's not going to work. It won't put me into Super Cruise because I'm trying to target a system to go to. So it's going to try and engage hyperspace, and I can't. Always set another button to just engage Super Cruise. So that way, when you're in a situation like I am now, where I can't go into hyperspace, I can trigger that button and just go into Super Cruise. Now the system is still targeted, okay? And you'll see there it changed in the bearing indicator to be behind me again. Now I can Super Cruise overcharge, get out of the gravity well, and immediately hit my hyperspace button to charge the FSD to head out to this system. So somebody, M, noticed that and asked me how I was doing it. So again, one of those things I got to mention because it's just second nature now. But always set a different button binding to Super Cruise, so in situations like that, you'll be able to exit out without having to target a planet or something and fly a little bit toward it and then replot to the new system. And I don't know where that exclusion zone was, so I'm going to give that star a wide berth.
Frameshift drive charging.
So we're looking for Cormag Hub, and it's somewhere out around 3,000 light seconds, or 7,000 light seconds. There it is. And you can see under the allegiance, it says Sirius Corporation. And there may be a closer one, I don't really care. With Super Cruise overcharge, it doesn't really matter how far out it is. I have not, Mike. I haven't gone through, like I say, there's so many, this game's been around for a long time. There's so many different things I could talk about, but no, I have not gone through anything about ED Copilot yet. There are so many third-party tools in this game. For a long time, I was on console, so I didn't have access to really a bunch of the third-party tools that actively worked in-game. So I didn't focus on them. Once I was forced to make the switch to PC with Odyssey, I started looking at a few more of them, but I still, really the only ones that I focus on are ED Market Connector, and that's just to help all the other commanders out. And transient things like the Material Helper, which is great for engineering both on foot and in ships and that sort of stuff. But yeah, there are so many third-party tools for this game that can help out. The one thing that I have found about a bunch of the third-party tools that actively read the log, like the ED Material Helper is one of them, Copilot's another one, that are actively pulling information from the log every second. It can cause some issues, some lag issues and some desync issues, and it will occasionally cause an orange Sidewinder crash. So I try not to leave Material Helper open until I need it. And then I either open it or I minimize it, and I have mine set to when I minimize a program, it halts the process. So that way it's not actively trying to query the log every time. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, they're all very, very useful. I just don't spend a whole lot of time on them.
Landing gear deployed.
So let's look here. We're going to go to
Touchdown confirmed.
mission board.
Restraints engaged.
And again, you can
Medical
see
commander.
right there, Sirius Corporation's in charge of this. And you can see that we are allied with Sirius. And we did that because when we sold all of our exploration data at a station controlled by Sirius Corporation, it massively ranked up our reputation with them. So if I click on them and then go to all, I'm going to see a permit acquisition opportunity mission here. Okay, so again, we have the data symbol here. So it's just going to grant us the permit. Okay, now we just got a message. Okay, so it issued us the Sirius system permit. Now, if you haven't gotten it or you haven't raised your reputation, then that's what you do. At these stations, you will take missions on the mission board that are theirs, and you can complete these missions here and up your reputation. Take the ones that have, you know, high bars but are easy to do. 1,184 units of domestic appliances. I could do that in my Panther Clipper in one haul, but otherwise it would take me quite a few hauls in my 80-ton capacity Mandalay. But take ones that have a good mix of difficulty and reputation available to you, and you'll very quickly up your reputation with them. You can also do it by, again, selling exploration data or trading commodities and that sort of stuff to do it as well. So now I can get into Sirius here. Actually, I need to be looking for something else.
Landing coupler disengaged. Watch for oncoming traffic.
And I should have done it here. Again, I wasn't paying attention. I'm not going to do this. I need to go look for something else first. I'm gonna wait till I get out past it.
You are clear of the
There
station.
we go.
Have a safe
Thought I was out far enough.
Access denied. Decrease distance to 7.5
Oh,
kilometers.
yeah. Now I have to be inside
Landing permission
7.5.
denied. Maintain approach and resubmit within range.
So I'm gonna go back in and land again real quick. So I need to look at something. I might not find it here, but if I don't,
Access granted. Prep for arrival on landing pad 26.
Landing gear deployed.
oh, that was weird. The bearing indicator was kind of off on scale. What I thought was below me was actually way off to the side. what we want to do here is look for a mission reward. So let's look at the mission board. We'll take missions from anybody, and we're going to sort our choices by materials, or not by materials, by commodities. And we're going to look for the rewards here. Okay, so there's modular terminals. We're only going to get 3 of them, though. There's 20 for mining. I really don't want to have to go do that. Kill smugglers? How many? Kill 1? Okay. I don't have a combat ship, but so Wolf 359. Let me go look at Wolf 359 here. Okay, so it's independent, but it has a medium security level. So I might be able to hop into a res site, see a smuggler there, and kind of do like I did for the combat bounty previously, where I can follow the security ships around and kind of get in on the action a little bit. So I'm going to accept this. That's going to give me 15 units of modular terminals. The reason I'm doing that is because his initial contract is to provide 25 tons of modular terminals. These are only available from missions, so I'm not able to buy these, I don't believe, unless they change that in the 2.0. If they changed it in 2.0, that would be awesome. Yeah, they did not. You can't buy modular terminals anywhere. The only way you can get them is from mission rewards. So that's why I wanted to come back in here and look. I'm going to accept this mission. I might not do it today. I may do it off stream. This would be 18 modular terminals. And yeah, I'm not going to go mining. Okay. So let's, while we're here... Oops. System map. I'm out here. I know there's another station somewhat near. There's some stations somewhat near. Procion's really good for this if you're doing mission reward farming. Like stuff like this. Procion's really good because there's a bunch of stations that are all out here, right next to each other, and you can just station hop, looking for the mission reward that you want. I'm just going to get 25 worth of these, and then we're going to head to Sirius real quick.
All clear. Until next time, Commander.
4, 3, 2, 1,
And of course I would hit a gravity well right when I pop out. Let's not approach from that side. Let's approach from this side. Again, we're just approaching this way so that we can try and line up the mail slot as best as we can to keep us from having to orbit the station. so that should be good. And welcome all the viewers to the channel. If you're new or if you're returning, very much appreciate the support for y'all being here. If you do have any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll respond as best I can. But welcome, thanks for being here. Okay, so we'll land here at Hardwick. We'll check for some more modular terminals real quick, and then we'll head over to Sirius.
Sorgon Peterson, India Romeo uniform. This port operates under federal jurisdiction. You must submit a request before landing. Access granted. Your assigned landing pad is number 33.
So let's check the mission board here.
Landing operation complete. Dispatching ground crew. Welcome to the station.
Again, we'll take all missions and we'll sort them by commodities. And look for modular terminals. And we didn't get any. Okay, now we don't have high reputation here. So there's some modular terminals that we don't have because we don't have high enough reputation. A planetary scan job. Again, I wouldn't want to have taken that one anyway. But nothing here. So I'll look at that here in a little bit when I decide whether or not we're going to go do those things. Or not. So we are now plotted to Sirius. Let's head in there. And you can see that we now have a permit for the Sirius system.
Clear of the landing pad. Regulate speed until outside the exclusion zone.
Type 7. I just flew one of those back from Colonia, actually. Well, I didn't fly it. That would be a massive headache. I hopped it back on the carrier. That was the ship that I had left out in Colonia on my main character after the previous CG for the Colonia Bridge years ago. So
Clear of the exclusion zone.
I took my spare Type 9 out there instead and brought the Type 7 back. Served me well out there for a long time. Okay, so here in the Sirius system, Patterson Enterprise is their main one. They have a stronghold carrier here. That is also very useful. But I'm gonna head to Patterson first. And they have a big honkin' Sirius. This actually is a real star here. This is a Class A. And this is a blue-white star. Really hot, really big. And it takes a while whenever you jump in here to orbit around it, if you need to get around to the opposite side. Just a big gravity well, big hot star, relatively young, being blue-white. But yeah, it actually is. This is one of the stars where they pulled the actual astronomical data from the real world to program the game. haven't been paying attention where the mail slot is. There it is. Okay. And it looks like we're on the top of it. Yeah, so let's approach from this way. Okay, so it looks like we're right at the tangent point. Is nice. And I'm kind of just head looking down at the glass panel below my feet. Kind of best gauge when to make my turn. Now what's funny about Sirius is that we need to get allied with Sirius Corporation to get in here to unlock an engineer. Later on, we're going to have to be unfriendly with Sirius to unlock a different engineer. So it's kind of interesting how FDev has played these engineers out a little bit. But that's an on-foot engineer, and we're not going to be doing that for a while. Whoops, landing gear.
Attention, Commander. You have not deployed landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing completed. Ground crew dispatched. Welcome to the station, Commander.
Okay, and now you can see that we have an engineer invitation contract. And that's because when we were looking at Marco here, we needed to be friendly status to unlock the invitation contract, but we needed to be allied to unlock the permit to get in here. So we were going to unlock him by default when we got access to the system. So we need to deliver data here to Shade Horizons. Now before we go, I'm going to again change this to commodities. Scroll through here because we're fully allied with them, so we'll have access to all or a lot more missions here. So we don't have anything here. Not that. Keep doing that. So we can go to the Stronghold Carrier. Now the Stronghold Carrier is available to us because if you look on the bottom left, Sirius is obviously a Li system. Since we are allied, or since we are pledged to Li, we have access to all of the Stronghold Carriers that are allied to him. And Stronghold Carriers are carriers that are maintained by the power in a system that is in the Stronghold state, which is the most secure state that you can have. So here we have a Stronghold Carrier. We're allied with Li, so we're going to be able to dock at it. And they have mission boards and that sort of stuff, just like other stations do. So these carriers are a little different than fleet carriers that are owned by commanders. These are going to have mission boards and all of that sort of stuff. Sometimes they'll have shipyards and outfitting in various different types of carriers. So since it's right here, we're going to dock at it. If I can get out of this gravity well. And just check it real quick for modular terminals. Terminal carriers can sometimes be a pain to land at. Depending upon whether there's active combat happening or not.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Okay, so let's check the mission board here. Okay, so they don't have any missions here at this particular stronghold carrier. So, yeah, see, combat's broken out. So, somebody there is getting attacked by the carriers.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
I want to scan him. Yeah, he's an Aileen Duval ship. And that's why. I did get some merits for scanning him. And if I can get in here quick enough, if I can get some damage on him. I might be able to get bounty for him. And try not to shoot your friendly ships. So, got 101 merits for that. So again, not the easiest way in a non-combat ship to do anything. But once you get a dedicated combat ship, very, very nice way to earn merits. So we're going to go deliver this data to the Procyon system. Oh, it wants us to deliver this to something on the ground. I wasn't paying attention, or else I might have reset that to try and get a surface or a station in space. But doesn't really matter.
Drive charging.
Okay, so we'll make our planetary approach here. And we'll do a loop of shame. Get out past the tangent point to try and reduce our gravity well, and here we go. So around here, and it looks like it's on the, nope, it's on the back side, so we'll accelerate again a little bit, and we'll circumnavigate the planet. And about there. Hey Dave, welcome. Hey, and I did see your comment, responded to it. I did a couple of manual sorting things, but I haven't looked at the playlist to see if it's any better or not. You can take a look at it and let me know. The playlist is a little wonky because I did have to edit 3 of the videos, and because of the way YouTube categorizes the publishing time, it's got 3 of them that are probably going to be out of order. But I tried to move stuff around manually and try and avoid that, but let me know if it worked or not. If it didn't, I'll try to do some other things.
Access approved.
0.23G world. And again, if you've missed it in the past, the G rating of the world is down below the elevation indicator on the bottom right of the HUD. So 0.23 is not too bad, but still kind of approach a little careful. It really becomes more of a problem once you're above 1G. But the higher the G number, the more likely you are to smash your ship into the ground.
Landing sequence completed. Deploying ground crew.
Incoming message.
Okay, so now we've unlocked Marco Qwent, and let's just look here real quick. There's modular terminals. Engage and destroy known pirate. That's probably not going to go well for us. Threat level 0. But he's going to be in a signal source all by himself. And I don't really have a combat ship. So I don't want to do that. Liberate 1 bootleg liquor, huh? Interesting. I think I'll accept that. So you see, modular terminals are not necessarily rare materials by any stretch of the imagination. So now we should have an email, and we do. So Marco Qwent's given us an invitation. And if we go to these... NapsterJoe, You have no idea how much work it was for me to get all of those names scrolling by at the start of this stream. And I had just enough, so I only had to do 2 pages of names. And now, look at you again. Now you're making... oh man. Again, thank you as always. I very, very much appreciate it. That's WENT. But again, thank you very much. And the new members, welcome. You'll now have your names shown at the start of the videos and the live streams and also in the description, so welcome. So now that we know where he's at and we have it unlocked, let's take a look at our mission tab here. Thanks, man. So we'll look at our mission tab here. So we've got a courier job. That's going to be easy. So let's go do that. We need to go to Schroeder Point in LHS 35. Which is out here. I don't think I've been there before. I have not. And like I've said to everybody before, and this one's, before I leave, this one I'm able to point right at it. So I'll be able to just boost away from mass lock and then engage my hyperdrive from here. If it's obscured, engage your super cruise, get away from the planet, and then hyperdrive.
You have cleared the federal perimeter.
Like I've said before, I'll never ask anybody for a like or a subscribe or anything like that, or a membership. It's just not why I do this. It doesn't matter to me. But for everybody who does decide to show their support in some way like that, I'm extraordinarily appreciative. It never ceases to amaze me that people are supportive of the content. I never really started out to do anything like that. It's always just, I'm playing the game. Maybe I have something to offer everybody in the way of learning how to play it a little bit better or easier, and hopefully people enjoy it. And like I say, it never ceases to amaze me that people actually do. So thank you very much again, NapsterJoe, for the support, on all the support that you've given as far as the memberships. It's very, very much appreciated. And I will go to work this week on putting up a new page of names. Looks like I'm a little bit on the back side of this, but not too bad. Well, thanks, Dave. Like I say, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll drop these off. We'll pick up, I think there's only like 3 modular terminals with this, and then we'll look at our mission board at those other 2 missions and see how easy and or difficult they might be to complete. see it. I can't see it. So it must be up here, and there it is.
Landing gear deployed. Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
And we're going to make sure you select the module terminal's reward. Okay. Now that's a commodity, so again, it's going to take cargo space. So make sure you have at least 25 tons of cargo. And now let's look at our transactions panel again. Now I'm intrigued by this Liberate One bootleg liquor. I've never done this before. So it's in the Qwent system. So let's go there and see what this is about. And once we get here, we'll probably have to look for messages in our message board. Or scan the nav beacon, and then maybe once we find a planet, head to that planet, maybe. I don't know if this is on a planet or if it's going to be in a signal source. I don't know anything about this mission, so I'll be playing it for the first time along with all of you. Well, you know, Dave, the controls, I mean, when I went through my cockpit setup here a few weeks ago, yeah, I wouldn't expect that anybody's going to invest what I did in mine. I've gotten, playing it for a decade, I've gotten more than my worth out of this. So I can more than say that they're worth it. But I played on a really cheap Xbox throttle and stick setup, which costs less than $100 for years when I was on console. So you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. But if you don't want to spend any, then yeah, I mean, you can play with controller. It's just not as easy. I would avoid mouse and keyboard, but you can certainly play with it. I would just, like I say, it's much harder to go from mouse and keyboard to playing with a HOTAS than it is the other way around. It's drastically different controls. And yes, Pete, you're absolutely right. You can, if you don't have the cargo space, you can give him as many, you can make multiple trips and donate partial donations to him if you would like. And yeah, so we scanned the nav beacon here and it gave us a mission update. So yes, you don't have to, that was a misnomer, you don't have to have 25 tons of cargo space. You could do this in much smaller amounts. It's just going to be faster if you have 25 tons of cargo space. And you can do that. So here, a target body is now Qwent 3A. So 1, 2, 3A. Let's plot a route here. And when we get close, we're probably going to have to DSS the planet, but we'll see. Yeah, and Mike, like I explained a long time ago in the first episode when we were talking about the controls, A hands-on throttle and stick setup for this game is an absolute game changer. It makes everything easier. Everything with flight in your ship especially becomes so much easier. Having access to all 6 degrees of movement simultaneously is just massive. But even for other things that you're going to be doing, like in your SRVs and that sort of stuff, it's extraordinarily useful there as well. Just having the extra buttons available on hand are a big bonus. So let's slow down here as we approach the planet. Check for any signal sources first. Okay, so we don't have any. We do have signal sources, but we don't have anything listed yet. I'm going to move in a little bit closer, see if I can get in within 25 million meters. And check again, see if we have anything lit up. We don't, so I'm going to PSS this. We only need 4 probes here. That should be enough.
Surface scanned by 50%.
No, it might not be. Oh, just barely.
Surface
Okay.
scan complete.
So now that we're done, let's check and see. So we don't have anything that's showing up yet. So now that I'm seeing all the signal sources on the surface, yep, there it is. There's the irregular markers lit up. So sometimes you got to get within 20 or so million meters to see it. So I'm going to lock this. And this is on the dark side, so we'll activate our night vision and we'll make our approach. Now I didn't look and see what the threat level of this is, or if there is a threat. But when it says liberate 1 ton, that normally means that somebody else is in possession of it.
Orbital flight engaged.
So let's see what's here. We should start seeing it through night vision here pretty soon. Okay, so we do have some signals that popped in briefly behind us. Okay, so there is something here, and we do have some signals that are popping in behind us. Okay, so there's just a bunch of cargo laying on the ground.
Warning, you have entered a trespass zone.
So let's drop our
Landing gear deployed. Trespass zone.
landing gear.
Warning, you have entered a trespass
I find it's easier to deploy in my SRV. Now you can do these with collector limpets. It's just, it can be a pain in the butt because your collector limpets are going to want to crash into the ground. So we're looking for bootleg liquor right there. I am going to
Trespass zone cleared.
open up my cargo scoop,
You have entered a trespass
and
zone. Cargo scoop
the
deployed.
bootleg liquor's over there. And there's a skimmer there. Okay, so that's what we're in for. So the skimmers are going to be guarding that red area on the ground. Okay. So if we enter into the red area, the skimmers are going to become hostile. So let's take them out.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Okay, and now we can make our way back. We will need to target that again. There it is.
Warning, you have entered a trespass zone.
Yep. Okay,
Incoming mission control message.
so there we go. So it's as easy as that. We could stick around and pick up all the others. We're limited to 4 tons of cargo space. So we could pick up all that other stuff and go sell it if we wanted, but not worth it. So that mission's pretty easy. So if you see bootleg liquor, it's an easy mission. So take it.
Cargo scoop retracted.
So now our last one, I'm going to stay in combat mode because now we need to kill one Wolf 359 Jet Kimura faction pirate. So let's go to the Wolf 359 system. And once we get in there, we're immediately going to go to the nav beacon.
Landing gear retracted. Trespass zone.
And this system is behind me, so I'm going to have to jump into Super Cruise first.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging.
Okay. We're going to hit up the nav beacon right when we get in here. We can ID all the signal sources.
Objective detected.
Okay, so it actually
Fuel scoping.
found this signal source. I'm curious about this. Because if this is one-on-one, I'm going to have a problem. Whoops. Wasn't paying attention. If it's one-on-one, I'm probably going to have a problem with combat. I need to have him need help. So I'm anxious to see what's in here. I may end up just jumping out. But I wasn't expecting to get a mission target here. Off of that when it just said check res sites and nav beacons and that sort of stuff. Well, let's see what this is.
Mission objective detected.
Daniel Z is one of those pirates, but I'm not going to have any help here. He's mostly harmless, So, how about we get into a fight and just see? He's in a hauler.
Target shield is offline. Bounty inbound. Incoming mission critical message.
Okay, so I did kill him. I got a bounty because I initiated the combat. I could have let him scan me and do it. He would have wanted to take my cargo, and I'd have told him no. But I am now successful. So my question is, how much notoriety did I get? And this will be a good thing, because I don't know if we talked about the notoriety system in this game or not. So notoriety is still 0. Good. Down on the bottom, bottom left of that screen,
Critical message.
it says notoriety. If you have a notoriety level, then, and you get that from having high bounties. If you get notoriety level, then you'll have bounty hunters that will get sent after you, and that sort of stuff. Actually, since I'm going to jump in here, let's go to Procyon A1A first. Turn this mission in. You'll get bounty hunters sent after you, and you won't be able to utilize system services in certain locations. And you can see down the bottom right above my fuel, it says wanted. That's because I have a bounty. Now I can go pay off this bounty
Frame shift.
in certain locations and get rid of it. If you have notoriety, you can't do that. You're not allowed to pay off your bounty until your notoriety disappears. You can get up to 10 levels of notoriety. It's kind of like wanted stars in GTA or something like that. You can get up to 10 levels of notoriety. For every level, you have to spend 2 hours of actual logged in game time to get rid of each level. So if you've got level 10 notoriety, you're now at 20 hours of playtime, actual in-game time that you're going to have to burn off to be able to get rid of. And somebody's tracking me. Jan Nisela is tracking me here. Of game time to be able to get rid of that bounty, to be able to go pay that bounty off. And then during all that time, you're going to have bounty hunters that are after you, and you're going to have certain systems that you just can't go to because the stations will be hostile. You'll pop into dock of the station, and they'll start shooting at you. So, yeah, it's notoriety is a thing. It's meant to. I remember when it was brought into the game. It was meant to have some downside for briefers and gankers in the game. And there we go with this. I shouldn't have any problem in a Mandalay escaping this. I'm just gonna run around the escape vector here. And we're good. That's why it was put in, but piracy is a valid role in this game. So they just wanted to put some consequences to it in the game. But yeah, it is kind of a pain. So that's why I don't recommend. Maybe I'll be able to do it here. Like commit crimes in undermining systems. You need 197,000 credit bounty put on you. And that's definitely going to get you a level 10 notoriety, and then you got to spend the next 20 hours in game being chased by bounty hunters and all that sort of stuff. So I don't recommend doing those. They're just normally not worth the credits, or not worth the merits, or the downsides. Oops. Yeah. So Dane was coming after me, trying to get their bootleg liquor back.
Orbital flight engaged.
Not a bad approach angle, a little shallow, but not too bad.
Access granted. You are go to approach pad 06.
Scan detected.
Yeah, Phaser, if
Landing
you
sequence completed.
if you
Ground
have
crew
notoriety,
dispatched.
you cannot either pay your bounty off or turn yourself in. Yeah, now what Phaser's talking about, and we'll look at it here. Inside your contacts, let's get rid of this mission first, and then I'll kind of explain a little bit more of that. So we're going to take the modular terminals.
Incoming message.
Okay, so under contacts, your administrative contact is where you have the option to pay your fines. Okay, now I don't have a fine listed here because who I got the bounty from is not this faction. I'd have to go to an interstellar factor. I can either go to the system where I got the bounty, land at a station, and pay it off there, or I can go to an interstellar factor, which is a service. It's a different contact here in the list. They just don't have it here. And it will cost you 25% more, but you don't have to do it in the system where you got the bounty at. Now, what Phaser's talking about is this. Hand yourself in. Again, there are no bounties detected here. What hand yourself in is for is if you can't afford or you just don't want to pay the bounties. Now, you'll spend some time in jail, so to speak, and they will take your ship away and you'll end up in a prison facility and you'll be back in a default Sidewinder when you leave. That sort of stuff. So there are some penalties for it. But hand yourself in is basically do your time. However, just like paying your fines, both things below this line here, fines and hand yourself in, you cannot do if you have notoriety. So notoriety, you have to let it wear off before you can do anything to get rid of it, except, and I haven't tried this to see if it works because I don't think it actually works anymore. It used to be that you could crash your ship into a planet or something and kill yourself and the notoriety would go away. I don't think that works anymore. I think they fixed that. So it stays with you as a commander, not necessarily the ship you're in. But I haven't actually tested that out. But yeah, if you have notoriety, you have to just deal with it. You just have to play the game while you have all those negative things happening. Now, you can just, if you want, leave your computer on overnight sitting inside of a station and get 8 hours worth of sleep and get 8 hours taken off your notoriety. You don't have to be doing anything, you just have to be logged into the game. But yeah, Phaser, if you have notoriety, you cannot do either one of those things. So the last thing is actually still here in Procyon, out here at Formac Hub. And while we're here, let's just check and see. I'm going to bring up my other display. So we're going to search nearest, and we'll just look around Sirius because that's where we are. Station services, interstellar factor. So yeah, the nearest one is in Ross 614. So we could go over there and pay that bounty off at any time. What I normally do is I bookmark an interstellar factor near my home station. So that way when I'm done with my playing for the day and I go back to my home station, I can just quickly pop into an interstellar factor and pay off any bounties or any fines that I may have at that time. But yeah, we don't have anything here. I'll keep Ross 614 in mind, but for now, let's just go turn in this last one.
Landing gear retracted.
Ship release. Please exit the core comm line.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Yeah, I actually hadn't had a bounty in a very long time, or notoriety in a very long time. So when I first pledged myself to Li Yongri under Powerplay 2.0, I saw that rack up a bounty in an undermining system deal, and I went out and did it. I just killed every NPC at every surface base that I could and racked up all the bounties. And then maxed it out at 10 notoriety, and yeah, I just had to kind of suffer through it for the next 20 hours. Okay, so Phaser, maybe it still does that. So yeah, I thought they had changed that, but it may still work. But yeah, you do have to pay your ship rebuy cost, and it will pay all of your stuff off. So what a lot of people do is they go into that default Sidewinder that they get given at the start of the game that's still sitting in a station somewhere, and they go fly that into the ground because the rebuy cost on that is almost nothing. Or like me, if you were given ships that were part of a community goal, like I mentioned earlier about the modules, those are worth 0 credits, so the rebuy is 0 credits. So all you're doing in that case is just paying off your fines and bounties. So if that still works, that's a viable way to do it then. And yeah, Angel, it's the engineering, we call it an engineering grind because it is a grind. There's absolutely no doubt. Once you've unlocked the engineers and you pin and I don't say correct because it's all up to your own preference, but if you pin the most efficient blueprint types from each one of the engineers, engineering a ship becomes actually pretty easy, and you don't have to actually fly to a whole lot of different engineers. You get most of that engineering done remotely, and then you can apply the special effects can apply multiple special effects from engineers that have multiple module types. So you don't actually have to fly around to go hit all those engineers. So, but yeah, that's kind of what we'll look at what I've pinned on my engineering blueprints once I actually unlock all of them. I'm actually pinning them as I go, but we'll spend some time and kind of talk about it at the end of the engineering unlock grind here. But yeah, unlocking the engineers and gathering the materials to engineer with are definitely a grind. No doubt. Hopefully these videos here are making it a little easier for you to do those things. Okay, so now we have... Oh yeah, I will fully engineer everything, every ship that I build. My Mandalay here is almost completely engineered now. When we went to Colonia and unlocked 3 of those engineers, that unlocked almost all of the module engineering I wanted to do. So I think my Mandalay has, I think the only things that aren't maybe are the beam lasers, but maybe they are too. So I think this ship is fully engineered right now. But yeah, every ship that I build from now on, once I've unlocked these engineers, is going to be fully engineered. It just makes too big an impact. It's engineering is a massive boost. So now let's actually, we don't need to do this. I need to get, but I made a bookmark for Marco Qwent. So let's head in there and fully unlock access to him. And then we will ask. Okay, so this system is behind me. So don't, if the system is directly behind your station that you're exiting, don't turn around and point at it. You won't be able to escape mass lock as fast if you do that. So, because you're going to be parallel next to the station as you're trying to boost past the back of it. So wait until your frame shift drive is almost fully charged, and then point at it. And that will minimize the time that you have to spend trying to get away from the station. Just another helpful pilot tip. Almost perfect SCO. That never happens to me. I've said it before, for all of you people who are just watching the stream for the first time, I'm horrible at gauging when to exit SCO. And we've got a white dwarf that we're orbiting. So stay away from that thing. It'll get you killed. If we have to go back to Colonia, like I mentioned previously, if we have to go back to Colonia for a community goal, then I will probably jump out there. I won't take a fleet carrier on this account. I will buy, outfit, and engineer a Caspian Explorer, and I will take the Neutron Superhighway out there so I can show you all how that works. It'll be a good opportunity to kind of explain it, and what the benefits of the Caspian Explorer are when you're taking the Neutron Superhighway. and that sort of stuff. I wouldn't do it all on stream. I think it only takes you like an hour and a half or something like that in a Caspian to get out there using the Neutron Superhighway. It's like 50, 55 or so jumps. I wouldn't do it all on stream just because that's a little boring. But I would probably stop a little short, like 4 jumps short or something like that, and show you kind of how to do it and that sort of stuff. How did I farm for my fleet carrier? Oh boy. I mentioned this, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. Back in the day, when the fleet carrier update dropped, mining was a big deal. And specifically mining low temperature diamonds was the way, it was the highest price commodity. Now it's platinum is the meta is to go after, but back then it was low temperature diamonds. Now, low temperature diamonds can be mined either by surface laser mining or by something called core mining.
Warning, landing gear
And
deployed.
what a lot of people don't realize is that the asteroid belts, we were in an asteroid belt a couple of times mining up that osmium.
Touchdown complete. Engaging
Asteroid
ship
belts
restraints.
are
Your
always the
arrival
same.
Has been noted.
Meaning that whenever you drop into, if you drop into the same spot of an asteroid belt every time, you're going to find the same asteroids. People didn't really know that for a long time, but it led to the rise of what's called mapped mining, where there are guides out there that show a specific asteroid path. So you drop in a specific location, you travel to a specific location inside the asteroid belt, you'll find an asteroid. You turn your ship to a certain degree, you go for a certain amount of distance, and you find another asteroid, and it helps you find high yield asteroids fast. Well, there was one called the Egg, and you can go look this up in on Google. If you just search like Elite Dangerous, the Egg, it was an asteroid that had 4 subsurface deposits in it, and you could gather like 70 to 80 tons of low temperature diamonds every 10 minutes. And that was how long the loop took to do. And then once you had a full hold, depending upon what cargo ship, most everybody back then used like pythons and stuff like that to do it. You could go sell it, and it would earn you anywhere between 200 to 250 million credits per hour. And that meant for like a 5 billion credit carrier, you could spend a couple of days of intensive mining on the Egg and you'd have enough to buy your carrier. And there was also a community goal, and I mentioned this, you can go look this one up too, called the Colonia Bridge. That was like a 7-week-long community goal, or 7 different community goals back to back to back to back for 7 weeks. And as part of it, if we scored high enough or unlocked enough tiers, we would get a discount on fleet carrier purchases. The community all came together and we unlocked the highest, which was a 30% discount on fleet carriers. So I went and bought my fleet carrier for full price before that community goal. When that community goal happened, I sold my fleet carrier for full price. You get all that money back, well, minus a small decommission fee. You get that money back, and then I bought a new fleet carrier at a 30% discount and saved like 1.5 billion credits on that. So I bought mine a long time ago under some very special circumstances that don't exist anymore, because that Egg is no longer there, low temperature diamonds aren't the meta anymore, and that 30% discount isn't there anymore. But now it's platinum mining has probably the most. That wing massacre missions, which we're not going to talk about. There are faster ways than mining to earn credits, but it is still mining for platinum a very good way to do it. So we're going to donate these 25 here. And again, power distributors and power plants are the only two that he can do that we need. But, and that's interesting. This is not labeled for some reason. So. And sorry, I missed a few comments here. And yeah, Brian, the 10-second thing, the 10-second thing works up to a certain point. If you're going like less than 1,000 light seconds, then that 10-second mark is pretty good. But if you're going like multiple thousands of light seconds, then that number decreases to something like 2 seconds or something like that. If you pop out with 10 seconds left, you may be still like 2,000 light seconds out or something. So there's a sliding scale there, based on the distance away that I just really haven't mastered. There's a guide on it online. I choose not to follow it, basically. So since all we can do here is power distributors and power plants, I'm pretty sure we're already good on those. But let's look at our power plant and our power distributor. So yeah, we're engine focus stripped down grade 5 already. And our power plant is overcharged and thermal spread grade 5 already. And let me look at Marco. So that other one, oh, is the Seeker missile rack. That's why. Okay. Yeah, that's why it doesn't show up. So Marco Qwent isn't somebody that I'm going to really focus on doing a whole lot with. So let's look back here at my other screen and we'll look at Marco here. So here's Marco. So he can do grade 2 Seeker missile racks, grade 4 power plants, and grade 3 power distributors. He doesn't do grade 5 anything. So he's not somebody that I'm going to focus on, because if I'm going to engineer something, more than likely I'm going to engineer it to grade 5. There's only a couple of exceptions to that rule for me. So I'm not going to spend any more time on Marco, except for the fact that he unlocks all of these others below him. So if I go to Professor Palin, I have to reach level 3 with Marco Qwent. So Marco Qwent is not somebody, and it's the same thing for everybody that's underneath of him. So Marco Qwent is not somebody that I'm ever going to use to do engineering. But I need to spend materials to level him up to grade 3, at least, just so I can unlock other engineers, which I do want to use. All right? So for that, let's look at outfitting here. I don't know if I'll be able to level him to grade. It's a very good question. I think I know how I want to do this. But let me look. So I'm going to go to my core internal here. My power distributor. Oh, I've got legal issues. No, I don't want to. Okay, so I can't do anything here. There's no interstellar factor here. Let me see if I can do anything. Okay, yeah, I can. I can still engineer stuff. I just might not be able to do what I wanted to do. So in my core internal, let's see if they sell 5D. They do not. They don't sell 5D power distributors here. Do they sell 5A power plants? He does not. Okay. So he doesn't sell any D modules. He sells an A-rated 3 size. We sell A-rated. Okay, only up to 3. So I think what I'll do here is, this is going to have the least impact. I'm going to replace my power distributor with a 3A. Actually, I think I'm just going to sell in this. So let's just put a 1C on here. And I'm going to store that current 5D. And now we will use him to level up. And I don't care what I put on this thing, because I'm never going to use it again. So I have plenty of materials for this. And we'll just try and level him up to level 3. Oh yeah, my fault. There you go. So I just replaced my main module with a throwaway power distributor. And I'm going to use this to level up just to get him up to the level that unlocks the other engineers. Yeah, if in Phaser, yeah, if the timing is right and you can do the booze cruise and make it work, I will say, it's a great way to earn a bunch of credits and get your trade up. The booze cruise, if you've been on it before, the booze cruise can be a real pain in the behind as well, because of all of the traffic from the fleet carriers up there. It can turn Rackhams into a laggy mess up there. So and you will get a lot of instances where you're getting DC'd or you're not able to make a connection to an instance because of it. So yeah, it's a great way to earn credits, and it's something that everybody I think should do once. But yeah, it can be a pain. And if you're jumping up there in your own ship, that I think everybody should be made to do that at least once. You have to have a specially engineered ship to do it, to get up there, because of the jump ranges required to end up at Rackhams. And I'm just spending extra materials here to get him to grade 5 just because my OCD is gonna drive me crazy if I don't get him to grade 5. I'm spending a lot of low-grade materials to do it, but it doesn't matter. Low-grade materials are so easy to come by that it doesn't really matter. I think he's full. I think that grade 4 access up there is a... Oh no, it's almost there. Yeah, had a problem on the display up there. But yeah, Rackham's is a great place to visit. I think everybody should do it at least once. Rackham's Peak, for those of you who are new or don't know what it is, when you talk about the galaxy, you speak about it in spinward, anti-spinward, and north and south. And it's not really the directions that you think of as north and south. North means heading upwards in the galaxy, and south means heading downwards in the galaxy. Okay, so here if we zoom out, okay, spinward is clockwise, anti-spinward is counterclockwise. So wherever you're at, if you are traveling spinward and you're on this side, then you're going out. If you're traveling spinward on this side, then you're coming in. So it kind of depends on your point of reference, but vertically up this way is north and down this way is south. Rackham's Peak is the farthest galactic north that you can get anywhere in the bubble, and it is way up there. It's something like 10 or something like 3,000 light years galactic north, and it's way out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the stars up here are very few and far between. Geez, I keep doing that. So, sorry. Spinward is clockwise, anti-spinward's counterclockwise. So if you're on this side, spinward's going out, and on this side, spinward's coming in. Anti-spinward, anti-spinward's going out, and anti-spinward's coming in. Galactic north is up here. Galactic south is down here. So Rackham's Peak is way up north of the bubble, and you need a specially engineered ship to get up there because of the density of the stars is so low that it's hard to maneuver up there. So here now, just like we mentioned here, we've unlocked Marco Qwent, so now Professor Palin, Laurie Jameson, and Chloe Sadesi should be, we should know about them. And sure enough, we got information on all of them. We actually got an invitation from a couple. So if we look here, we got invitations from Chloe Sadesi. So, and that's because we visited a system at least 5K light years from our original start system. We went all the way out to Colonia, which was 22,000 light years away. So yeah, it's we've more than exceeded that. So now what we need to do is drop off 25 sensor fragments, and these are a little bit difficult to get, and I kind of want to show how to do that. And we're going to do that on stream next week. We got an invitation from Professor Palin, and that's because, again, we visited a system at least 5K light years from our original start. So Chloe Sadesi and Professor Palin have the same initial contract, it looks like. And then we got information on Laurie Jameson, but we haven't unlocked, or we haven't gained access to Laurie Jameson yet, and that's because we need combat rank dangerous or higher, which is going to take us a while to get. So just like Petra in Colonia, we needed combat rank expert with her to get, so we didn't unlock her when we were out in Colonia, but we need to get combat rank dangerous to get Laurie Jameson to get access to her. We're going to be going through the combat grind, and we're going to be doing that in a very specific way to unlock both of these engineers. It's just not something that we're going to be doing right this second, because there's something else we have to do first. If I'm going to be doing combat for leveling up, I'm going to be building 2 specific purpose-built combat ships. One for Thargoid combat, and one for PvE pirate combat. They're 2 drastically different ships, and I'll kind of show those and how we build them and that sort of stuff when we get to that point in it. But for right now, you can see that we have unlocked information about Professor Palin, Chloe Sedesi here, and we got information on Laurie Jameson. Okay, so if we go to our map here, and I have some bookmarks out here. Oh, yeah, I know why all those are there. That's for my home station stuff. Those are material traders. So Laurie Jameson is going to be inside Shinrarta Desra here. But and I need to make sure I've got them right. So Chloe, okay, so Professor Palin is here in RK. Laurie Jameson is, like I told you, in Shinrarta Desra. And then where is Shinbei's a ways out there, if I remember right. Yeah, it's out here. And this is Chloe Sedesi. Out here, it's 870 light years outside the bubble. It's out here in the Witch Head. The Witch Head is a very special place, and there's a reason that Chloe is out here. But the Witch Head Nebula is out here in the Pleiades sector, which is where Thargoids still have a presence. And she is part of all the other anti-Xeno stuff, which is happening out here in the Witch Head. So there are some other systems out here, which we don't have access to yet. But yeah, she's way out here, and that's why she requires Thargoid sensors or sensor fragments to unlock her. So you can see we're slowly building up the bookmarks here in the bubble, and that's good. The more bookmarks that we have unlocked, the more gameplay loops we have figured out how to do. So it's definitely a good thing that we're starting to see more and more bookmarks populate out here. So what we're going to do is, off stream, I'm going to be progressing through this unlock of the various engineers. And we'll go back over to the screen here real quick. Ramta is a very, very important engineer to have unlocked. Now for him, we already know about him from leveling up Li Chung. We have a rank surveyor or higher. We're elite in exploration rank, and we just have to turn in 50 units of classified scan databanks, and we already have that. Okay, now this is an engineering material that you have to collect. It's not a commodity, and we've already collected bunch of those. So it's easy to unlock Ramta. We don't have to talk about unlocking these because they are an encoded material, and we talked about how to gather encoded materials. Jury Ishmak, when you have earned more than 50 combat bonds, we haven't turned in that many combat bonds. I think we've only done maybe like 10 or so. But we will probably hold off on doing this one until we get our combat ship, and then we'll unlock Jury. Jury is useful, but not incredibly useful, because most of the stuff that he has are missiles and torpedoes. I don't really deal with those very often on my builds. He also does the mining laser and mine launcher and abrasion blaster, which all you can do is harden them or shield them, which is dumb. I would never waste materials on that. The frameshift wake scanner, kill warrant scanner, and manifest scanner are only level 3, which don't really serve any purpose. He's really used for sensors and the detailed surface scanner. Both of those things I can do without right now. I can unlock a detailed surface scanner that's better than one I can engineer, and I've already pinned lightweight sensors to another engineer. So I can hold off unlocking him until we get a combat ship and we're able to really easily do this. Colonel Bristecker, reach friendly reputation with the Federation. This is another engineer that we're going to hold off on doing until we get our combat ship, because as part of getting that combat ship, we're gonna have to raise our reputation with the Federation, and this will just unlock itself naturally as we go through that. The Sarge is gain rank midshipman or higher in the Federal Navy. This is again something that's going to happen naturally while we're gaining that combat ship. There are ranks inside the Federal Navy, and we're going to explain that, the Federal Navy and the Imperial Navy, when we start that grind to rank up through those. But these two are going to unlock, well, these three are really going to unlock kind of naturally during the combat grind. D.D. Vaterman, reach the rank of merchant or higher. We already have that. So all we have to do is drop Levy and Brandy. So I'm going to go unlock her. You don't need to see me go pick those up. And Bill Turner, reach friendly reputation with Alliance and allied with Alioth Independence for the Alioth system permit. We've already seen this happen with Sirius, so you know how this works. It's just with the system Alioth now instead. So I'm going to go rank up with the Alioth Independence to unlock the Alioth system and unlock Bill Turner as an engineer as well. Dropping off Bromelite. You can buy this. You don't have to mine it. It doesn't say mine it. It just says deliver it. So you don't have to mine this. You can just go buy it. For Heratani, Imperial Navy rank of outsider or higher. For Brew Tarquin, competent or higher combat rank. And Tiana Fortune, reach friendly reputation with the Empire. So just like we had the Imperial or the Federation combat ranking up and that sort of stuff, we have the same thing for the Empire. We'll do this once we've gotten our combat ship unlocked and all that sort of stuff. So these I'm going to probably hold off on a little bit too. So off stream, I'm probably going to level up or probably unlock 2, maybe 3 more engineers. And then we will, on the stream next week, we're probably going to do the sensor fragment thing here. So you find out what those are and how to gather them. Because that's going to unlock a couple of these. And then we're probably going to start ranking up with the Federation through both reputation and the Navy. And there's a very specific way that we go about doing that is still the meta. It's still the meta way of doing it, so that we don't have to spend a super long amount of time doing it. We'll be able to change some way we do things on our ship, but I may just build a dedicated ship to do it as well. But I'm going to kind of look at that off stream. So for now, we're going to be done with streams that are purely dedicated to unlocking engineers, because now we need to focus on combat a little more. For 6 of these engineers, they're combat related in one way or another. So we're going to focus on that some more. And to do that, we're going to need to get a combat ship. And for all of you who have played this game for a while, you know what that combat ship is. If I'm talking about ranking up to the Federation, that obviously means a Federal Corvette. It is the best PvP combat ship in the game, and it's a personal favorite of mine. But we're going to get that, you have to be the highest rank in the Federation Navy. So we're going to spend a little bit talking about how to do that, and exploring that a bit. And I'll probably do a little bit of that rank up off stream during this week, because it's a grind and it's pretty boring to sit here and watch. So, but yeah, that kind of gives you an idea about what we're going to be exploring here over the next couple of weeks. So we're going to be we are going to be keeping on the engineers, just kind of in a roundabout way, by branching off into combat. I'm going to unlock the remaining engineers that we have easy access to right now, off stream, because again, there's nothing special, with the exception of these two that we just opened up with sensor fragments. Next week I'm going to start off with that, and we'll talk about how to mine those and how to get them, and we'll unlock those two engineers before we move into the combat ship and Federation Navy grind. So I think that gives us a good place to end the stream today. I don't really want to get involved in the sensor fragment stuff when I only had 10 or 15 minutes left in the stream. So I think it's best if we delay that until next week, and we can get that farming done, unlock those last two engineers, and then start the combat grind next week. So it's going to be a little bit more fun, so to speak. You get to see how combat works, and that sort of stuff. But first we need to get through a little bit of a grind, and that has nothing to do with combat at all. In fact, we're not going to be buying and building a combat ship to do anything associated with this grind at all. We're going to be doing a specific run back and forth between a couple of locations, and you don't get into any combat for that at all. So I'll explain to you how this new gameplay is going to work, and then we will continue ranking up through the Federation, unlock our combat ship, and then we'll get back on to unlocking the rest of these engineers. So, as always, thank you all for being here today. Again, NapsterJoe, thank you for the gifted memberships. Again, I'm running out of ways to say thank you, so I'll just say thank you. But again, thank you all for that, and I will do my best to get all of those names displayed on the video descriptions and on the countdown timer at the start of my live stream. So thank you again for that. For everybody else just being here, commenting in the chat, I really enjoy the interactions I have with my community. Y'all have been great. I expect that to continue. And just being here and watching the videos is an amazing amount of support for me, because as I always say, without any support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.